Greetings, Guardians. It's Lieutenant Aya, and Spring Sleepy Hollow is upon us. If you're new to the Guardians or you haven't been to Sleepy Hollow with us before, please make sure you watch this whole video so you understand some of the expectations of Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy is a little bit different than a lot of our other fairs. The main thing about Sleepy is they are very strict on their policies of parking and who is allowed into the fair performer-wise. If you did not get on the official sign-up sheet for Sleepy Hollow, unfortunately, you probably will not be able to attend. If you would still like to attend and you're not on that, please contact me and I can see if we have any last-minute openings available to get you into that list. But we do have to submit a list of all of our performers about a month and a half ahead of time, so it is critical that you get your name on that list if you want to attend. With that list, you need to make sure to let me know if you need mundane parking or if you need a parking pass because there are limited spots available for each of those. Because Sleepy is so strict about allowing people in and out with their passes, we do request that everybody attends at least for a few minutes on Friday, our setup, so that you can obtain your passes. If there's absolutely no way for you to get there on Friday night ahead of time to get your passes, you will need to coordinate with one person at the fair who will have to run those out to you ahead of time. And that can't always be me or figured out at that last minute. So that will need to be set up ahead of time, a meeting time and a meeting spot so that they can bring them out to you Saturday morning so that you can then get into the fair. They will not allow you to just drive into the fair if you say you're with a group and you don't have your pass. You must have a pass. As for where to go once you are in the Sleepy Hollow grounds and how to actually get there, it's a little bit tricky if you haven't been there before. There is a secret entrance that all of the actors need to use, and we will be posting a video, a whole drive-through of how to get there and to where our encampment currently is at. We will always have maps posted in the informational sheets about the fair, about where to park, where to go, where our encampment is, and how to get into there. With the strict regulation of the passes, this does mean that if you do not have a performer pass, you cannot stay on grounds after the fair closes. This includes any spouses or friends that you might want to hang out afterwards. We do have fairs where that's acceptable, but Sleepy Hollow is not that fair, and we will have to ask anyone without a pin to leave. Because you're wearing your pins, this also means if at any time you decide you don't particularly want to be working that fair that day, you want to go have a glass of mead, even if you get approval from our group with that, you absolutely cannot be there with your performer's pass on. You do have to leave, come back as a paying patron, and then you can circulate as a paying patron. But if you have a pass on, you have to be working as part of our group and you are representing our group. Everyone still gets walkabout times, but we just have to be extra cautious and aware that you're still representing the group, even if you're taking a little bit of a break. Sleepy Hollow also has some of the strictest rules about what we can say and cannot say. A lot of the innuendos that we typically would use in a show, even certain body parts, we are not allowed to say those. So if in question, if you're not sure, think, would I want a 5-year-old repeating this? And even if it would be funny, if you think their parents would not be happy, don't say that, okay? So just be really, really cautious about what you say, what kind of jokes you say, especially during the show or anytime you're representing yourself to patrons. The fair is extremely family friendly, so we want to help represent that correctly. Because Sleepy Hollow is so large and has all the buildings and different things, it is really, really important that we do not have vehicles on site. 9 is the official time that they have to be off of the main grounds and into the parking, but we like to represent better than that. So 8:30 is kind of our rule of thumb. We need all vehicles out of the encampment by 8:30 and everybody on grounds between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is the absolute latest that we can have our members coming in through the parking area. So you need to be on site by 9 a.m. So with the spring Sleepy Hollow season, we have two fairs right in a row. So we have 2 weekends that we do fair, which means we don't have to set up and tear down our tents each weekend, which is fantastic. So the first weekend, we do a full setup. So that Friday night, we need as many hands on deck as possible to get all of our tents up. But then that Sunday, when we tear down, it's a little bit different. We're not taking all of the tents down. We usually take the shade flies down, and then we take anything off of the ground that we can in the tents and put those in the trailer so we're not ruining the grass. We secure down all the ropes and the shade flies and kind of put everything tucked away for the week. And that's all we have to do. So it takes a lot less time to do the half tear down. So this means on the following week, when it's Friday, we don't have to do a full setup. We just have a half setup, which is great. So we just put those shade flies back up. We open up all the tents, put our stuff back in from the trailers, and it takes about half the time that it usually does. It makes it a lot more relaxed on that Friday. So if you do need to miss one of the two setups, that's the setup that it's a little bit more okay to not attend, although we still do need hands for that. And then that second week on Sunday, we have the full tear down. So that's just a traditional full tear down. So we get a little bit of a break with a half setup and a half tear down in that 2 weeks. And then we only have one full setup and full tear down. And if you have any questions about any of this, please put those in the question and answers channel in the Discord, and we'll get right to those. And I will see you at fair.